hear me? It's so awkward. How are you all? Good? Good. Okay, so I'm going to be talking about mental health. So usually, whenever I talk to my friends, or any people actually, I always tell them, yeah, I'm actually crazy because I come from a family that's crazy. And they're like, Natasha, you need to calm down because, you can't take that word crazy like so loosely. And I'm like, no, I'm serious. I come from a crazy family, which society would call as crazy. So giving you a little glimpse of this and then I shall move forward. My dad was schizophrenic. My mom committed suicide. Along the way, I got depression and anxiety, so you see where the crazy comes from? Yeah. I'm making it a little light so people will laugh also, just so that we don't get very tense. I'm supposed to press that. So my mom committed suicide when I was 3.5. She burnt herself in front of me. This was the first memory I had of her, and actually the only memory I have of her. And even till today, I still remember her crying. I still remember the smell of her burning flesh. Still remember everything. And that's actually the first trauma that I've ever been through. And it kind of started making this hole in my soul where I didn't know what was happening, but I just felt not good. So, usually when you're a child, you live through happiness and love and comfort and togetherness. This is what you go through, right? But for some reason, I had to mature into understanding that I was only there for myself, that there was no one else out there in this world. Because I couldn't stay with my dad since he had schizophrenia, so he had to stay in a remand home, so I stayed with my godparents. That is my dad's oldest sister and their family. And they are phenomenal human beings because they loved me, at least they tried to love me in ways they knew how to, but that was just not enough for me because I was still feeling empty, I was still feeling lost. So this is also when I started feeling, the feelings of self-loathing started entering into me, and I was just disgusted with myself. I felt in my whole existence was grotesque. At the age of 7, I was raped by my domestic help. You think things are going to get better? It's not. So I was raped when I was 7, and it was, I don't remember what happened because I remember one moment we were playing and we were having fun, and the next moment I was washing away the blood from my vagina, and I couldn't tell anyone because of the guilt which was eating me alive. There was shame, and everything was just growing. And to this day, his mum at that moment told me that he really loves you. You should go away and get married to him. Did I tell you? I was 7. He told me that no one else would ever love me, so I should move in with him. And those words are still like tattoos to my soul, that it's so difficult to heal, but it's a process. And from that day on, or from that moment on, I kept thinking things will get better, but it didn't. I was sexually assaulted from the age of 8 to about 13 with my cousin sisters and brothers. And again, you think, okay, it's going to get better. But unfortunately, I was even verbally and physically and emotionally abused in school. So nothing was getting better. Just that my insecurities was just growing, and for the longest of time, I couldn't see myself as anything, and I believed that I deserved everything that was happening to me. My insecurities were so intense where I believed that I didn't matter. I believed that nothing in this world would make me better. I believed that nobody did care for me because I didn't care for myself. So at this point of time is when I realized that nothing's getting better, and usually what happens is when I made myself believe, okay, because people told me this childhood, really bad, it's fine. When you grow up, teenagers, it'll get better. Otherwise from there, it'll get better. So this is me. Small girl, coming from my childhood going up to teenagers, it's not getting better. Moved into adulthood, it's not getting better. Currently, it is better, but I was still lost. I was still broken. I was still torn apart. There was nothing was getting better. And I didn't understand the concept of self-love because I didn't love myself. Because every moment, I was also someone, ever since my childhood, I would always want others to be happy. I would always want them to smile. So I would be funny, I would be goofy, I would be eccentric the way I am so that they would smile and they would not feel what I'm feeling. And that's how I tried coping, but for me, I didn't understand love, and I couldn't understand love because all I would do or I could do was just escape, so I started cutting myself. I never wanted to kill myself, I just wanted to hurt myself. That much where the pain inside that I was feeling would numb down. So I would keep cutting myself and I would try and keep trying to escape, which did not help at all. And I was also someone who would not express myself. So my mom put me into therapy, and this is when, which was very good, but I was not opening up. And then my therapist said, okay, fine, she gave me paper and she's like, do whatever you feel like. And that's when I started drawing and I started writing. And that's also where I started realizing I am creative. My psychiatrist told my mom that Natasha has dyslexia. So, you go to the government and get a certificate done, because then her grades will automatically get better because she's going to have time, more time and all of that. But my mom told my psychiatrist that we're not going to do that because she is going to give that as an excuse and not go further, not study. Because that's, and it's very true, it is me. If I come to know that, oh, I have a problem, I will not do it. However, because she did that, everything became much more difficult and I thought I was dumb. But more than anything else, because of her, I realized that you have to put effort and hard work into whatever you want to do in life, and you can achieve it. I was very slow. Like if people would take to learn something for maybe like 10 minutes, I would take 2 days. But that didn't stop me. And from then, the seeds of not giving up were instilled, a little bit instilled in me. Also with therapy, I realized I was very creative. And more than anything else, I realized that that was my expression. Not studying, but being creative. So this is just a little gist of my story. I'm going to explain to you all about the mental illness, about depression and everything. So I've had depression since I was a child. I had to take medications for it. As soon as I went to therapy, I thought my mother hated me and that's why she's putting me into therapy. So when a lot of people look at me, they look at me and they're like, but you don't look depressed. And I was just like, what does a depressed person look like? And this picture I actually really love because it's exactly how one who is depressed, at least me, who is depressed feels, because you are your own prisoner in your mind, in your body, in your whole essence. So every time, I'll explain to you, I'll try and explain to you very simply what depression feels like. Imagine you're going to a party, and in this party you have friends coming with you. So your friends are helplessness, hopelessness and worthlessness. Best friends for life. They come with you and you have guilt along as well. And there is no one else except your best friend anxiety, who also tags along because, best friend has to come. So the whole idea here is that you're at this party where there is a full crowd of people and you still feel alone. You still feel worthless, you still feel hopeless, you still feel helpless. And you can't do anything about it. And you can't even tell anyone because you know what, then they'll think you're crazy, so you can't talk about it because the friends are imaginary, they can't see it. You can't see it, then it's not there, right? So with this, I would always, after the party, I would go home to my sweet lover, insomnia, and make sweet, sweet love, and we wouldn't sleep the whole night. Now, someone who is depressed, there are extremes. So, for me, I would always starve myself once upon a time. After my breakup, I would only eat because I felt like food is life, food is love because you're filling yourself. The other extreme, I would not sleep at all, and then I would sleep every day. And then people will think, oh, but you're getting better, you're sleeping now. You're just like, that's what you think. But no, and this is also a way of you trying to cope, you trying to do everything. And in this whole process, there is no self-care. There is no, you don't understand that because you don't see it. For me, for the longest time, there was one time I went for a month, or there were 2 months, month and a half or so, without having a bath, without changing my clothes. It was, to do things had effort. There was effort. I had to, if I wanted to get up and brush my teeth, that was effort. If I wanted to brush my head, that was effort. If I wanted to go down to buy something, that was effort. I didn't have the strength to even do any of those things because I didn't believe I could do those things. So even when everyone, and it's a process because sometimes it still comes in, but even when anyone asks me, are you okay? And I'll be like, yeah, I'm fine, I'm top notch. But inside I'm dying. Because you don't know your self-worth because you have no self-worth. And the best thing about this, you can realize this is very sarcastic, but the best thing about this is that you keep looking for the pain in everything that you do. It could be work, it could be situations, it could be relationships. And I've been in relationships which I knew were going to break me down, and I would jump right in and swim because I knew that the pain was comfort, the pain was home, the pain was something I'm used to rather than being happy. What? Happy? What is that? No, can't do that. That's alien to me. So if anyone who was actually genuinely good to me, I would push them away because I would want the pain, I would want the disaster. So the only thing that saved me was my expression, was my art. So was when I started dancing. First time when I was a professional dancer for 5 years. At that moment was the only time I felt like no one was judging me. I could move and nothing was around me, and I could genuinely be who I am. When I started writing, I was very scared because I'm writing about all the good things in life, rape and depression and anxiety and mental health and all of these things. But I was like, people are not going to accept this. People will think I'm crazy. So, but I did, and somehow for me that was a release. That was an area where I realized it doesn't matter about them, it's me. I'm doing this for myself. So my expression saved me, and I genuinely believe that mental health is a progress. You need to take effort into it. It's just like how you're going to be doing push-ups and you're going to be working on your triceps and biceps. It's the same thing with your mind. It is a process. It's not something that's going to happen like that. For me, and I would also, when I started doing this, I would I'm very hard on myself. So I would start being even harder and if I felt sad for a minute or if I ate a chocolate, I'd be like, oh my god, how can you do this, Natasha? What's wrong with you? You were so good. And that's also when I realized that for Natasha, calm down. For 22.5 years, you've been killing yourself mentally, emotionally, physically. Do you really think that everything's going to be fine in 2 days or a week or a month? It's a process. It takes time. So this is something that I started doing very recently. It's been a month and it's working like magic. So I have this book and it's my gratitude journal or hashtag goals for today. So I write the goals for that day and at the end of the day I check and see if I've done the goals. Now the goals are very simple. Okay, it's not I'm going to have tea with the President of India. No, it's just get up in the morning, to eat food, eat something healthy, hug more today, be kinder to yourself. listen to your thought process. Very simple things, and in the night when I would go back, so I know that I have a pattern, I have a structure, I have a routine to do something. So when I go back home, I'll take a red pen, okay? And this is like, I am like a teacher to myself. I'm also catering to my child. So I go, and then when I do something, so let's say like today I had this intense workout, okay? And I wanted to give up because also I have asthma, so I was doing stairs. And then I stopped because I could feel myself wheezing. But I went slow. So when I will go back, in the night, I'm going to tick that off and I'm going to be like, yes, queen, you slayed, like, come on. So I am my own hype woman, because you know what, I realized that no one else will care. And this is your mental health. Because at the end of the day, no matter who you're with, no matter what family you are, no matter no matter how much money you have, no matter the job title you have, if you are not happy in here, nothing else will matter. And that is the thing, and sadly that is life. So I want you all to take two things from this talk. Number one is that no one should ever touch you. I was going to abuse over here, but I'm not, without your consent. When I say this, I mean, and I'm 25 years old, I have been raped and molested, well, raped once, but molested majority of my life. So I know when a touch is inappropriate, but still you think that, things could change. 3 days ago, so I'm always in my sports gear, so I never have to go to a tailor to wear anything. So my tailor came to my house and he was fitting a blouse for me. True story, of course. And suddenly he started touching me. And I thought that was the process of the measuring of everything, and then I was just, this is weird. And it went on for a good 2 minutes. And I was like, this is strange. Is this supposed to happen? Even at that moment in my life, even though I'm 25 years old, even though I know that this is wrong, I didn't say anything. Because I felt guilty. Because one, so this is my mind. One, I thought that that was my fault. I somehow aroused him. Again, my own previous thought of, oh, you know, you have done this, so maybe somewhere you deserve this. Maybe in some action, because again, it's the pain that I'm getting. I didn't tell anyone because I felt guilty, like I said. And then the guilt is also many layers, but one fold of the guilt is, if I tell someone, my family will tell me, why didn't you say anything? Are you stupid? Why didn't you react? Why didn't you do anything? And then I'll feel more guilty about that. This other reason is that, oh, I don't believe you. That is why I did not go out and talk for the longest of time, because of, I will not believe you, I don't believe you, make up a story. I actually told my psychiatrist 2 months back, and I told her, you know what, I think I made up the whole incident. I think I made up the whole act of the rape and the assault. And she's like, why do you think you would do that? I said, because I like the pain, maybe, I don't know. And she's like, you have to understand this, you will never put yourself in that situation. You will never, again, this is all the guilt talking, because you feel like you're not going to get better. So from this, the last thing I want to say is, I'm going to actually end on a nice story. When my dad and my mom and dad, when they got married, I assumed that through this whole process that I am the cause of pain. So I caused my pain, and I was an unwanted child, and luckily enough, I wasn't. We're going to hear the story. So when I felt that I'm a curse, I'm destruction, I am all of these things. When my sister recently, she told me, very recently, it's been 2 months, and I've been thinking about this, and that's also what's changed my mental framework. When my sister told me that, do you know that Alice is my mother's name, she chose, Alice Auntie, she chose your dad. I was like, what now? And then my sister told me the story that, so my dad was schizophrenic, and so I'm Mallu also, so we're very orthodox in our mind and being an essence. So my whole family, we're from the small village, so my whole family thought that, oh, okay, fine, if he gets married, if he has sex, the problem is solved, you know, because somehow through, I don't know, sex, it'll be fine. Clearly it's not, because they didn't understand mental health at that point of time. So my dad my granddad said that, okay, we need to find him a wife. And it was when he was 28, so that's also old because this is centuries ago. And at this point of time, he decided to get a wife who is from a lower income, so she wouldn't say anything, so it's like a trap. So my mom, and they found this woman who is my mother, and my godmother who I'm staying with went and was furious and went and told my mom that, you don't have to do this. This is, you have to understand this is a mental illness. It's going to be there for life. He has to be on medication. You have to take care of him. It's not something that's just going to go away. And she's like, yeah, okay. And everyone then started telling her this. And then she brought down my whole family together. And she said this, that I understand that he has a mental health issue, I understand. But the thing is, if he got this when we were married, I wouldn't divorce him. I wouldn't stop loving him. So I want to get married to him. Because somewhere he's not seen love, he's not anything. Maybe with this, I just love him, and it doesn't matter how he is. And when my sister told me that, I was like, what? So I'm born out of love, I'm a love child. And then it made sense to me because I was like, maybe that is why I do what I do. Because I was like, it doesn't make sense otherwise. And then I was like, okay. And when she told me this, I realized I had a purpose. That I realized my worth. I realized that all of this is there for a reason. It's not because it's just happened and I deserve sadness and I deserve unhappiness. And this is what I want to tell you all, that I felt for the longest time alone. I felt that nothing's going to happen, everything's going to be horrible. But the thing is, one, you're not alone and you are strong. It doesn't matter what anyone says, does. You don't have to have depression to be sad. You don't have to have anything to be anything. If you're going through something, know that one, you're not alone, that you can get through this, that you are a warrior. Thank you.